Twilight Perion. Soon after the formation of the Alliance, the Black Mage ordered Lucid to create yet another illusion to sow discord amongst the members of the Alliance. Lucid expanded her illusion of the ruined Victoria Islands to include a destroyed Perion and spread that vision in the form of a nightmare that all the people of Maple World continually experienced whenever they slept. In order to solve this crisis, the Alliance held an emergency conference, which was attended by the top leaders of the Alliance, as well as the Traveler, who had first entered the Gate of the Future. As the Resistance and the Cygnus Knights bickered amongst themselves, Athena Pierce attempted to keep the peace and moved the discussion forward to the nightmares about the Gate to the Future that plagued the people of the Maple World. Author's note: there's a cutscene here that shows different groups of people in Maple World being affected by the nightmares. One of those groups is the elves in LOL, and it's shown that many of the elves have been freed from the ice. However, this is a continuity error because the Heroes of Maple Blockbuster confirms that only the Elders and Mooney, the child who was kidnapped by Orchid in Mercedes' storyline, have been freed. Grendel pointed out that such a level of dream control would be next to impossible for even the most powerful magicians. Athena explained that the Silent Crusade had already attempted a remedy, though she added that it wouldn't be enough. She asked the Alliance member who had first entered the Gate to the Future to speak with the warriors of Perion. There, Dances with Balrog shared his premonition of the future with the Alliance member and told them that he feared that it would soon come to pass. After reporting back to Athena, the Alliance member was tasked with finding proof in the Gate to the Future that Dances with Balrog's vision was only an illusion. In Twilight Perion, the Alliance member learned that the warriors of Perion had been killed by the Black Mage's army, and that the survivors had been enslaved by the Resistance, who had betrayed the Alliance. The Alliance member returned to Dances with Balrog and told him about what they had seen, as their experience matched his visions. Dances with Balrog accepted that his vision was false future, created by the same one who had created the Hennesis ruins. Soon after, the Alliance member returned to Arev and described the future that they had seen, which shocked the Resistance as they continued arguing with the Cygnus Knights. Athena did her best to hold the peace and explained that the people of Maple World had gone half crazy from insomnia, brainwashed into believing the false future. Grendel believed that they were suffering from dream addiction and asked the Alliance member to gather rare lucid matter from Twilight Perion in order to stop the nightmares. The Alliance members successfully obtained lucid matter and brought it to Grendel for his cure. They then decided to stay and help the people of Perion suffering under the Black Mage's rule. They first obtained fresh sap from the swollen dark stumps for Christopher, the exhausted beginner explorer who was still just as clumsy in the future. Next, they obtained giant firewood from swollen dark stumps and swollen axe stumps for River. They then went to see Wrestles the Wolves, the son of the late Dances with Balrog, who asked them to hunt the swollen axe stumps and pillaging wild boars terrorizing his people. Author's note: a lot of Perion and its NPCs are based on the novel Dances with Wolves, which is where Dances with Balrogs and Wrestles with Wolves names come from. The novel is about a soldier from the Civil War finding himself stranded in the wilderness before coming to live with a tribe of Lakota Sioux people. After which, he takes the name Dances with Wolves. Dances with Balrog's name in KMS and JMS is actually Stands with Open Fist, which is a reference to a character named Stands with a Fist in the novel. Stands with a Fist is the white adopted daughter of the tribe's medicine man, and her story was actually adapted into Ian's backstory in the game. While the quests detailing Ian's backstory have now been removed, the gist of it is that Ian is actually Bruce's daughter in Hennesis. At a young age, she was attacked and injured by a golem, which caused her to lose her memories and forget her past. She ended up being found by the warriors of Perion, who brought her to live with the tribe, which is why she's the only white person in Perion. Bruce came to believe that the golems killed his daughter, which is why he decided to dedicate his life to researching the golems in the Golem Temple. This backstory was slightly modified several times throughout the game's history, as an earlier iteration actually said that Mushmom attacked Ian, and that Bruce was studying the wildlife at Hennesis in general as a result, rather than just the golems. Regardless, the rest of the backstory is still the same, which is that Bruce eventually discovers that his daughter is actually alive. He then asks you to give Ian a toy sword from her childhood in order to jog her memories. After Ian gets her memories back, she asks us to give Bruce a letter from her, after which she and her father end up reuniting. Wrestles the wolves then asks them to help Sophia feed the town, which had recently been hit with a famine, and so they brought her giant pork chops from the giant boars. The Alliance member then caught the attention of Elix, who ordered them to bring strong armor fragments from the pillaging iron hogs as materials for the giant statue of the Black Mage being constructed at the top of the village. Next, Claudine ordered them to find strong wild boar teeth from pillaging fire boars in order to turn them into gift shop items. Soon after, Wrestles the Wolf summoned them and explained that his father's secrets of how to protect his people had been lost in his final battle. The Alliance member then decided to return to the Hennesis ruins, where they reunited with Chief Alex, who asked how Dances with Balrog had kept his people safe. Alex suggested asking the spirit of Chief Stan, who explained that Dances with Balrog had a special flute that could chase away monsters. The Alliance member returned to Twilight Perion and told Wrestles the Wolves about the flute, who recognized it from the stories of the elders as Pachamama's quena, which had been taken by Ghostwood Stumpy. The Alliance member recovered the flute for Wrestles the Wolves, who asked them to deliver it to the tribal refugee camp, the home of the weak and the old members of the tribe, as they needed the protection more. The Alliance member brought the flute to Ian, who thanked them and asked them to collect cursed planks from the sinister wooden masks in order to build fences. Next, they met with Black Bull, who asked them to prove their strength by hunting sinister rocky masks. Soon after, Grendel contacted them with an idea about how to find the mysterious Dream Master, and asked them to find slumbering fragments, which were reflections of the Dream Master's subconsciousness within the scope of the dream that enveloped the Gate of the Future. The Alliance member collected the slumbering fragments and delivered them to Grendel, after which they continued to help the people of Twilight Perion. Stands with Bulls asked them to ask his granddaughter, Hard as Stone, what she wanted for her birthday. She explained that she wanted to see her grandfather again, and asked to hear his stories about the great warriors of Perion. The Alliance member gathered war journals stolen by the sinister steel masks and delivered them to Hard as Stone on her grandfather's behalf. Soon after, Elix ordered them to bring thick cursed plates from the sinister steel masks in order to continue construction on the Black Mage statue, though he intended to pocket the materials for himself. Claudine then ordered them to collect radiant ancient rubble and radiant dark rubble for her gift shop. After helping them, Ian contacted the Alliance member and asked them to check on Manji in the Spirit Zone, who asked them to take care of the golems, as well as a reformed Ghostwood Stumpy. He then asked them to collect the warrior hearts from the spirits of Perion's warriors and to return them to Black Bull, who used them to hold a memorial service. Grendel then contacted the Alliance member and explained that he had used the slumbering fragments to form a piece of memory, which the Alliance member used to view Lucid's memory of meeting the Black Mage within his dream. His dream, her dream. Just then, a white mare appeared and drove them out from his master's dream. Author's note: the image that we see of Lucid in this quest actually shows her as a human girl. This was the first iteration of what she was concepted to be, as before they changed her to be an elf in the Shade storyline. The concept of there being a follower of the Black Mage who could manipulate dreams was first established in 2010 during the Chaos patch, which released the Gate to the Future. 3 years later, Twilight Perion came out in January 2013 during the Cygnus Awakens patch, which is when we see the image of a human girl who had stumbled into the Black Mage's dreamscape. Interestingly, Lucid was first named and retconned as an elf in Shade's storyline, which came out in December 2013 of the same year, meaning that the decision to make her an elf was fairly last minute. Lucid's appearance was quite different in Shade's storyline, which actually features her wearing a green and black checkered dress, as well as having long lavender hair that covered her eyes with her bangs. 3 years later, in 2016, Lucid's design was updated to her current look with the release of Lachlan, which was also her introduction to the wider MapleStory community who hadn't gone through Shade's story. Back in the real world, Grendel explained what dream manipulation was as a benign form of magic, and that the dream manipulator was likely an ordinary girl who had been warped into a dark sorceress by the Black Mage's influence. Athena then thanked the Alliance member for their help, and explained that the Alliance would begin investigating the Dream Master immediately. She also warned them that the Black Mage was likely displeased by the formation of the Alliance, meaning that he would be recruiting more commanders in the future to stop them.